Dog lovers, I just scored an awesome interview with Dr. Ross Henderson. He's a veterinarian and a musician, and he's about to play for us.
Well, welcome to another Fear Free Friday Pet Expert Series for Pet Anxiety Awareness Month. I want to give a big thanks to our friends at DOGTV for their support again this year, and also for introducing me to our guest today, who you're going to love. Now, Dr. Ross Henderson is not only a veterinarian, but also a musician. And he practices in Colorado alongside his veterinary brother and father. So there's
Yeah.
three Dr. Hendersons. That's why we call you Dr. Ross, right?
Exactly.
Now, you might have seen their show on Animal Planet called Hanging with the Hendersons. And super cool fact, today a new series called Bedtime Ballads drops on Dog TV featuring Dr. Ross. So we're gonna ask you about that a little bit. But as a musician and a veterinarian, Dr. Ross knows firsthand how music can be therapeutic for both our pets and ourselves. So I think you're the perfect guest for today. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Ross.
Oh, pleasure. Absolutely love it. So thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess let's just start off by talking about tell me about your journey of deciding to become a veterinarian and a musician and finding a way to make that work together.
For sure. So I grew up, I played piano since I was in second grade, and my dad being a veterinarian, I'd be tagging along with him to the office. And there is a video, actually the Dodo, when they spotlighted kind of my story a little bit, we actually dug this video up, but it's me standing there being like, I want to be a vet just like my dad, and I'm walking to, it's either kindergarten or first grade, kind of my mom chat with me. And then I think as I evolved and grew, I started to realize that being a vet is not just like playing with puppies and things, that there's kind of like, again, behind the scenes, there's actually kind of the full picture of veterinary medicine is not all just puppies and kisses, right? And so I think in the tail end of high school, going into undergrad, I realized that like, I feel like it almost felt like more of like a calling, and that like, hey, I feel like I want to enter into this, like that. This is not for everybody, but I could see that that it's a very special career path. And while I was in school, I was playing music, and I would be lying if I didn't have a little bits of identity crisis of, hey, you know what? I really love making music, playing music. I'd be performing when I was in Scotland in vet school. And then it came to a point where it felt like if I abandoned one or the other, it literally would feel like I was amputating a limb off. Like these are two very solid parts of who I am. And so when I started, I brought my guitar into work, a privilege of working for the family practice. I think I don't know if I would have been able to do that if I walked into a corporate vet job. They'd be like, excuse me, and so it was nice just being able to have something familiar as I'm learning the kind of the ways of veterinary medicine as a qualified vet, and then found this cool little niche, where playing guitar with animals at work, and our office manager started filming it and posting it, and then it was like, oh, this seems like a little bit of a cheap shot. Animals, puppies, playing guitar. So I kind of hit this wave, and then that's what started a lot of the viral stuff and the Animal Planet show. So that's like the crazy short version of that story. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you ever pinch yourself and just say, wow, how did I manage to combine these two loves? And,
Yeah, no, for real. I think it's a testament to not trying to fight what is like naturally yourself. Because to me, I hadn't like it. That is the specific reason why I kind of poked through and got attention. And I had an opportunity to perform on America's Got Talent, and I was hanging out with Tyra Banks, and they had some technical stuff. So my audition never actually happened. And then the show started. But I was just like, man, doing both was actually the thing that made a difference enough to where it created a really cool platform to be able to share a bigger audience than my direct clients, and play music with Elton John's bass player do a show that had almost 500 people with all original songs, and Kenny Passarelli. I mean, it's really cool. Really great story.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell us, so I know I've seen a lot of your videos where you're playing music in the practice, and how much of the music that you play is music that you've composed yourself for and about pets versus just kind of, playing popular songs that are just
Sure.
that everybody knows?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a mixture. I feel like a lot of times I'll hear a song on, whether it's a popular song or something like that, and it hits home. It's got the feels in there. So I'll typically play those. Most of my videos that have a lot of traffic or views are covers. But like even in the Animal Planet show, it kind of followed how writing music and recording music and meeting someone like Kenny kind of evolved as well. But I'm really bad at starting things and then not finishing them. So like the fact that I have 4 songs that I released while the show was aired. Those were featured on the Animal Planet show. I've got 4 with a band called Wild Goose Chase, and then I've got 1 like pop, it was like an experiment, which is a really cool song. But those are all originals, many inspired from kind of the heart of being a vet as well, so.
Sure. And I know we're going to have you play one of those for us in just a minute.
For sure.
But tell us, the one that you're going to play, tell us what inspired that song.
Yeah, so I want to play Let Me Be Your Home. It's kind of the first song that I actually released, and again, kind of incentivized by it being featured on the Animal Planet show. But just to me, it like adoption, whether it's, I mean, one of our vets is actually adopting a human child, which again is just mind blowing. It's one of the coolest things ever. But we get as humans being able to adopt a dog is like, it's a relatable version of taking in this beautiful creature that has so much love and relationship potential and bonding, and taking them from a possibly a circumstance that's very vulnerable, or where there's a lot of variables that aren't in a safe or controlled, it's maybe a difficult situation, but being able to just take that on and just like, hey, I'm going to take care of you. And then we end up benefiting way more than they do, is what I've typically found,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As someone who I started my career in the animal shelter world, spent 15 years. And so when I first heard your song, it totally choked me up. And I'm sure, anybody who's ever adopted a dog, feels the same thing when they hear it.
For sure.
So, do you want to play it for us now?
Sure. Yeah. So
Awesome.
This is I've got a few different versions of this song. The one that's online is a guitar with like a band. On DOGTV, I played a ballad piano version, which almost makes it more like, oh, this song's so sad. It's like happy sad. It's definitely a happy sad song, right?
Sure.
But this one's kind of like a slimmed down electric guitar, but guitar version of Let Me Be Your Home. And again, it's just talking about taking in a dog. It doesn't have to be about an animal, which is kind of the cool, liberties that you can do writing music, but definitely inspired by shelters and adopting. So
excellent. Well, we're very excited to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah. Second here. Okay. Don't be afraid, you'll be okay. I'll protect you and keep you safe. I won't let you go. You'll always know that I'm right here. Yeah, I'm right here. Let me be your home. never be alone. No, I'm never gonna change my mind. It's fine, let me be your home. May take some time, darling, that's fine. Take as long as you need. 3 little words you overheard. Well, you got me, yeah, you got me. Let me be your home. Never be alone. No, I'm never gonna change my mind. It's fine, let me be your home. I know it's hard to give me your heart, or you can hold mine, and you see that it's fine. Let me be your home. Never be alone. No, I'm never gonna change my mind. It's fine, let me be your home.
Bravo. Oh, that's beautiful. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
For sure. There's one more verse there, but I could not remember it. So
I love it.
just being honest. I was like, oh yeah, there's don't know how it starts. We're gonna just end it right here.
Yeah, that's nobody knew the difference, and we're gonna tell people where they can follow you so they can hear that mystery third verse.
Yeah, that's what having 2.5-year-old twin boys do, you know, when you're just like, oh, we were up for 2 hours and
Oh my
last
goodness.
night. So there's just little gaps.
Yes.
You know, it's like when your computer freezes for a sec, but anyway.
You are a busy guy. Well, let me ask you this, Dr. Ross. So, how do you incorporate your playing when you're practicing when you're at work?
Oh yeah. So gosh, I wish I had a picture. So I have my desk kind of facing my computer, and then I've got a wall, and then I've got my guitar, and I've got my ukulele, which my older brother Ryan stole, and so I have an empty holder for a ukulele.
Where our ukulele used to be.
Yeah. And then I have a 47-piece drum set behind. No, I'm just kidding. So my guitar's there. So if man, lately though, veterinary medicine is just the caliber and like the new data and articles that say, so the level of veterinary medicine, which is great, right? Obviously,
Yeah,
but I'm finding more and more the ability to pull off the guitar and play for 15, 20 minutes is shrinking, sadly.
yeah.
And then over lunch, I'm trying to be healthy and go for a bike ride. So everything's
Right.
like, okay, guitar, biking, notes, not getting fired, all of those things.
Right. It's hard to fit it all in.
But
But I have seen, some of your videos where you're playing. I believe that one of them was you were playing for a puppy before surgery. I think this was a couple of years ago. But maybe let's just talk about this briefly, about the power of music as therapy for our pets
For sure.
when they're stressed.
Yeah, I think the most maybe the way I would describe it that makes the most sense to me, and then also we can get into kind of the cool stuff about DOGTV and Bedtime Ballads and the data and research, which is amazing and kind of affirms what I think we know inherently. But our lives, I mean, music is part of our lives, right? And our dogs are being kind of carried through, and they're intimately involved with our lives. So, when we're making dinner, we've got music on, or if we're, you know, if we're hanging out or if we're camping, there's just music everywhere. And especially, being a musician, we've got pianos. I'm playing piano, playing guitar. Now with the boys, we're hearing kids songs
Yep.
36 hours a day. But it's so part of their world because it's part of our world,
Mhm.
and I think that them hearing music, being part of a family that they feel comfortable with, it just makes sense that they start to associate music with comfort and home. So,
Sure.
so I think playing that and, like, playing that for the original, the original video that our manager posted that, like, this dog surgeries, scary, the dog was barking, and actually it was I
Mhm.
can't even take 100% credit for it. Darcy's like, "Hey, can you like, that dog's been barking, can you go over there, maybe play your guitar or something?" I was like, "That's a good
Oh,
idea," and I sat down and started playing the guitar, and she
yeah.
just, like, rested her head over my lap,
Oh.
and then Darcy's like, "Alright, that's really cute. Sorry, I'm filming," and I was like, "Okay." Anyways, so it was, like, natural. It was really cool. So, anyways, I find that that's, like, we even if I'm not playing directly, we'll have music playing, which is really cool. I think it's very
Mhm.
beneficial.
I agree. I agree. Since we briefly mentioned Dog TV, let's talk about Bedtime Ballads. This is a
Yeah,
new series that's dropping today. We're recording this on Friday, June the 21st. And let me put up the link where you can watch it. And tell us how this series came about, Dr. Ross, and a little bit about what we can see when we watch it.
absolutely. So, yeah, Ron reached out, and, obviously, I've worked with Dog TV before, and Ron's amazing. He was like, "Hey, you know, how are you? How's life?" Because I kinda dropped off the planet with having these boys,
Your
but
twins.
exactly, and they're cuties. Um, but he's like, "Hey, we have all this cool research about music. You seem like you might be the perfect person," and, looked through it, and I was like, "Oh, sold, for sure." Also, every
Twist my arm.
all my friends who also do music, they're always like, "Dude, you're really kind of obsessed with ballads, you know that, right?" I'm like, I love ballads, you know?"
Yeah.
And, so he's like, "Hey, like, there's a picture, what I'm picturing, like, ballad songs," and I'm like, "Okay," and music research, dogs.
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Alright." I mean, if I'm not the perfect person for this, then, this show shouldn't exist. So yeah, it was really fun just going through lots of tips, and facts and insight for people to just, and it's not exclusively music, there's a lot of other things, but, just
Yeah,
how to cultivate the most, um, mutually beneficial relationship with your pets, and establishing security, confidence, comfort, all these things, has really been cool and fun, you know?
that's wonderful. Well, Ron sent us a clip, so we're going to drop a
Oh,
clip in
cool.
here.
Heck yeah. Hi there, I'm Dr. Ross Henderson, and I'm thrilled to announce the launch of my new show, Bedtime Ballads. Each episode is designed to relax, enrich, and deepen the bond between you and your furry family members, with a special bedtime song to wrap up every single night. Stay tuned for an experience that promises to be as enriching for you as it is for your beloved pets. See you soon on Dog TV.
Well, I can't wait to watch the whole series. So I'm probably going to binge it. I think most people will binge it if we're able to on Dog TV. And actually, let me just talk a little bit about. I know you've been working with Dog TV for a long
Mhm.
time. So have I. They're actually kind enough to offer a 1 month free subscription at this link, dogtv.com/pet living. And that's because they are one of our sponsors for Pet Anxiety Awareness Month. That we do every year in June as we lead up to the July 4th holiday, which I'm going to ask you about right before we wrap up here.
For sure.
But for those of people watching that don't know what Dog TV is, it's literally TV for dogs. You can find it on streaming services, on cable and satellite, and they've actually have patents on the way they produce the audio and the video to be the best consumed by dogs and to have a calming impact on them. Just and enrichment too, right, Doc? Like through the visuals on the screen and um, I definitely, if you haven't played Dog TV for your dog, I definitely suggest that you check it out. So, all right. Well, why don't we wrap up? Doc, by talking a little bit about giving some advice to our viewers as we lead up to the 4th of July. How might we incorporate music into our dog's environment as we lead up to a pretty noisy season where a lot of dogs and cats experience a lot of noise phobia, and it's a stressful time for them?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very, very common question for veterinarians. And if you have
Mhm.
specific, if anybody has specific, you know, concerns with their pet, your vet is a huge resource, and definitely would recommend chatting with them. I would say generally the goal is to create almost like a safe den, right? Because we can't control if there's giant fireworks that are gonna be happening a block down the street, and to them, they don't understand what that sound is, the vibrations if they're super close. Um, so I think ahead of time starting to implement and integrate, familiarity. So music is a great example of something that not only it's like white noise with my boys, right? If
Mhm.
there's white
Mhm.
noise, they're not hearing doors slam or, um,
Right.
you know, whatever. So it kinda creates a sound pad so that those sounds get kind of diluted. Also, if it's familiar, if they've heard these certain sequences or music or whatever, that'll be familiar to them as well. Creating a comfortable environment, like we with our pup when she was a pup, she's 9 now, which is
Mhm.
blows my mind. But
Wow.
when we when we had her as a pup, we'd feed her in her like, little crate, and she'd have her bed in, and the door would be open, and anytime anything's scary, she's like, "Oh, that's my little safe spot." Having
Sure.
safe spots, um, there's some thoughts you could almost, like, desensitize. This might be a good question for a trainer or something, but, like,
Mhm.
desensitize with sounds, that are similar to fireworks at
Mhm.
low volumes and things like that. That's interesting to me, but the music
Mhm.
side is really cool because there are certain frequencies that actually do create calmness and relaxation. And then I know because my dog is and/or was one of these pups that
Mhm.
if you're just if it's just like, "Hey, we get triggered and it now we're freaking out and we're worried about them hurting themselves, like pawing or scratching or chewing things,"
Mhm.
then that's when chatting with a veterinarian because we're very comfortable, and oftentimes if you have a relationship with your vet, they can advise if medication might be helpful. It's not the first choice by any means, but it's definitely something to
Mhm.
be considered.
Yeah,
So yeah.
absolutely. That's great advice. And I know that for dogs that do have noise phobia, it can, over time, if it's not addressed, if you don't find ways to calm them or manage them or treat it, it can get worse over time. So
Mhm.
it's really important that you talk to your vet early on when you start to recognize those symptoms.
Exactly.
All right. So, Doc, where can we hear more of your music? We know we're going to watch Bedtime Ballads on Dog TV, but where can we follow you? Uh, let's see, I've got your social handle up. Is this for all social channels
Yep.
or?
Yeah, so for sure.
Okay.
So Instagram, Facebook, I think the TikTok, which again, I've been very silent on, not by choice, just, you know,
You're
um,
busy.
exactly. And then on Spotify, Apple Music, Ross Henderson, and Wild Goose Chase
Mhm.
is our band that, with some
Awesome.
really good friends, and then, there's this pop little project experiment, which was really fun,
Uh-huh.
called Doc Ross, Docross, and, I figured
Uh-huh.
Dr. Dre or, there's all these other doctor, in fact, I think Rage Against the Machine, one of the guys there, he's
Uh-huh.
a lawyer or something like that, so we can still play in the music world if we've got established careers in other
Other
venues.
things going on.
But anyways, yeah, and shoot me a DM or yeah, just follow along and, um, yeah, I've got some fun stuff. I'm coming out of the shadows, I promise. It's gonna be fun.
Good, good, good. Well, I can't tell you how grateful we are that you took some time on your day off with us today. So thank you, Dr. Ross. Best of luck with all of your musical and veterinary endeavors, and just thanks for doing what you do and being a great example of how you can pair multiple passions into one, kind of cohesive passion that makes you happy and serves others.
I appreciate that, and ditto for you guys. I appreciate mutual getting to know and yeah, getting to know and befriend people who love animals,
Yeah.
and want to help promote that message. So, well, it's been
Yeah.
a pleasure for sure.
Thank you.